Hello all. November 10th, 2012. One of our watchers asked us a question. We're going to have to go to the board to answer. Spankier asked, why are fuel prices, gas prices going down? So I thought we'd do a video on getting caught up on what oil prices are doing in the last year. So let's start out right here where it was a year ago at $115 a barrel for Brent Crude. Why do we use Brent Crude? Because that's what most of gasoline comes from nowadays. Alright, so we start out at $115 a barrel and we quickly start declining. The economy begins to pick up. Prices by January were starting to beginning to rise around $100 a barrel. By March it was $125 a barrel, but then by May it was down to $120 a barrel. The economy goes into recession here. Anything over $120 a barrel is redlined, meaning the economy is guaranteed to crash, which it did. By July, because of the crashed economy and the excess fuel, because they're still pumping as fast as they can, we got an excess of fuel, and so the price goes all the way down to almost $87. But it quickly starts going back up because now the economy begins to pick up, so the fuel prices start to go up so that they can drill more to sustain the supply. By September, we were roughly back up to $115 a barrel. At present, we've gone back down again, and the economy is going back up again. Now, this is really in general around the whole planet. Where did I put my eraser? I just had it. It was under the mirror. Okay, not everybody has this going on. Because of the large storm that has hit New York City, Washington area, that whole area, gasoline is in short supply because a lot of the refineries there had to shut down. And the refineries tend to refine gasoline that goes with the area, the specifications for the area clean air. So they are now low on gasoline and their prices are skyrocketing while ours are going down. Well, why are ours going down? Well, because when the storm came in, it took so much demand off of gasoline and oil because there was so much work taken offline and people stayed at homes instead of driving, that the supply of gasoline and oil has skyrocketed in just the last week. How much gasoline comes out of a barrel of oil? Okay, you know, there's many things that we can do. Such as we talked about last week about how we vote. There's also ways that we can help not use as much oil. The less oil we use, the better off in the longer term we have to try and get off of oil through science and a lot of education. Okay, gasoline takes about 44% of each barrel of oil, and 35% of the remaining oil goes to other fuels, jet fuel, diesel, and bunker fuel. Alright, and then the rest goes into asphalt, farming, food coatings, such as these coatings that you find on apples and tomatoes and many different types of vegetables so that they can be transported further and longer without spoiling. That industry is growing quickly and taking up a lot of oil. The plastics and styrofoam industry, clothing industry takes up pretty much all the rest, so that's where a barrel of oil goes. So every time the economy goes up, all these become more and more in demand and uses up the oil faster. So if we bought locally, like at a farmer's market, within 2 miles of where you lived, and you worked within 2 miles of where you lived, you could use a bicycle most of the time, except for when it's raining. Just think of the fuel cost you'll save. You wouldn't even have to buy a fancy car to keep up with the Joneses. A simple bicycle, you can either buy one at your local cooperative bicycle shop, or you can go to Pink Barrio and find one there. I suggest advanced riders buy at Pink Barrio because new riders need help from an assistant, which means you need to go to a bike shop to get fitted out with your first bike. But that's a really good spot, another place that you can help a lot in using oil. Okay, there's another reason why California gas prices are dropping so quickly, is because the flow of oil and gas production is pretty constant. When one area shuts down, you end up with all this fuel on the market. Well, California just went into their winter blend, and there's a lot of people that have winter blend fuel, which a lot of the refineries do not have summer blend because of the need for your biofuels, which are put in as a percentage to try and combat the air pollution that we have in California. But right now we're on the winter blend, which means very little biofuels is added so that we can get our fuel from almost anywhere. And so now the supply is pouring into California since the demand is there. So what I wanted to show you next is the barges on San Francisco Bay. As you know, when the prices went up, the fuel barges went down. Well, now the fuel barges are going up. Yesterday there were 6 in the bay. And there was something else, the way they were parked. Let me show you. On a spectacular November day, winters, 54 degrees, windy, but look at how clear. One of our clearest days I've seen this year. My leg is getting in the way. It looks like we are back to a better supply of oil in San Francisco. We now have 7 barges. Alright, I wanted to show you this button right here because this button is a pink barrio button, and a lot of people have been buying them, enough to where you may someday in the future see one of these on somebody. If you wanted one of these, there'll be a link right here on Pink Barrio. Right now, conventional oil peaked in 2005 and is about here. Conventional oil. Now, unconventional oil, tar sands, and oil shale have also gone up and have started to plateau. So, in my opinion, we're at about like this. The reason we're not falling further on the supply is because of the unconventional oil filling the gap right here. But, always has to be a but, doesn't there? We're going after the sweet spots right now in North Dakota. The oil that they're going down into is in a bunch of sand and gravel kind of thing. And the gravel's rather large, and the sand is kind of far apart, so there's a little bit more oil in little pockets here and there. So what the oil industry is doing is that they're pumping. They usually have about maybe several wells that go into an area, and then a lot of slant drilling going on, and then they pump a whole bunch of chemicals down in there along with water, and the combination of pressure, explosions, causes all the oil down here to go up in like this, to go up, and then it gets pumped out along with the sand and oil. These sweet spots last about 6 months. That's about it. After 6 months, this well is gone. And what you have left are old well or platforms all over the land that just sit there with pipes sticking out of them, right? You people in North Dakota know what I mean. Alright, so then they go after another sweet spot, which is a little bit smaller, you know, and they drill, and they pump that dry in about 5 months. And then they go after the next size, and that one might only last 4 months. But right now we're at about 6 months. As we use up these smaller and smaller pockets of shale oil, that peak that we saw in conventional oil will begin to crash down again, because the peak in unconventional oil is slowing down. So regardless of what the newspeak media say, oil is declining, regardless if it's conventional, unconventional. So anyway, I appreciate the questions and the comments. And another question was, what happened to Miss Maple Gas and the Maple Gas report? Well, because of the technical problems, I put it on hold for just a while, and hopefully we'll get back to it if I can figure out how to keep these videos from taking so long. They didn't used to take that long to make. They're just, the equipment's getting old, and the updates make things antique rather quickly, don't they? So you have to buy new equipment. The corporations really have it fixed, don't they? It's the best way. Just stay away from the corporates whenever you can. Whether you vote for them or shop in their big box stores, you know, you're much better off shopping at a small cooperative or farmer's market or Pink Barrio kind of thing. Until next time, guys.